Whoa, Josh. Nice shirt.
Thanks, man. You too. Nice shirt.
Oh, thank you. Where'd you get yours?
I got this at the target audience shop on tpublic.com. What about you?
Oh, you did? Me too. They really wanted those guys to be the next big bads of Star Trek. Come on.
It's just like little scenes like that that are so great that it's like,
Whew. That was good.
anytime it's them two in a scene together, it's like, let them cook.
Oh!
So today's episode, The Battle, features the return of the Ferengi. In what I think was a much better showing from the Ferengi, even though they're not fully figured out yet. They were still annoying for some of it, but I liked them in this episode much more.
Yes, annoying at the beginning, but really dived deeper into the captain and also even the first officer and made them seem like different people. Because the first episode they just seemed like three of the same, constantly. And it's nice that they're not all on the same page. Like there was some little back and forth, some quarrels. It's like, oh, this guy's, I don't know, it's like some inner problems on their side, and it made it a little interesting.
Yeah, because it's like a lot of times when they portray a different species, it's always like, we're all on the same page, we're all on, this common goal. When it's like, when it shows humans, there's infighting and different, goals and everything all the time. So it's nice to see that in another species. I really liked. And I thought the main Ferengi, Bach, that actor did a great job making me believe that the Ferengi were like an actual species that I can believe is real and not just utterly ridiculous.
Yes, a species I can believe is real, not the main bad for the entire show.
No, still not that. Still don't buy that.
Nope.
But even the plot that they did in this episode with the whole brain thing, something kind of like schemy and something that I would believe the Ferengi would pull off. It wasn't just like brute force or anything like that. The show continues to feature every cast member, every person on this ship. Every character gets time to shine in this episode as well, and that just continues to be a strength of, TNG for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we'll jump into all of it after the reaction with our full thoughts on the episode, as well as our patrons' takes, thoughts, and questions for us about the battle. So we'll throw over to the reaction, see you guys on the other side. And if you want to watch the entire episode along with us and all of TNG along with us, check that out on our Patreon.
In response to a Starfleet order, we are in the Zendi Sabu star system, having rendezvoused with a Ferengi vessel.
Another Ferengi vessel?
Oh, no.
Headache. Surely you know what a headache is.
Of course, but I don't often encounter them.
I was going to say, did they cure headaches in the future?
Yeah. The way that she responded, I'm like, no way.
They're willing to communicate on visual.
Open hailing frequencies.
Frequencies open, sir.
I like how with this bridge they're able to get like the whole crew in one shot there.
Yeah, I like the elevator in the back there.
Is this the
God.
Captain Picard? Shall we meet on your vessel or mine?
Well, you don't appear to have a set, so,
They're still building it over here.
Captain, I sense considerable deception on Bach's part. And danger.
Really?
Then we should meet him here. Keep him under our control.
All right, let's give it up for Troy, contributing to the cause. Finally.
In 1 Earth hour, then?
In 1 hour, Damon Bach. End transmission.
They really wanted those guys to be the next big bads of Star Trek. Come on, man.
I can get it for more of like a villainous pirate type, space pirate type
Yeah.
entity, but not like a big bad.
Klingons and Romulans, like, they weren't to be, messed with. They were believable as, enemies, villains. But these guys, it's like, oh, God.
To me, the Ferengi seem like they would be underneath or working for another big bad. You know what I mean? Like the actual threat would like hire them to do like grunt work.
Were they Gene's idea? The Ferengi?
I think someone said that, yeah, that he was the one that wanted them to be. I don't know how much of the creature itself was his idea, but...
Feel better?
Pain's gone.
Medical fakery. The pain is actually still there. It's just cloaked.
So it's kind of like most drugs today. Like, it just hides the pain. It doesn't fix the problem.
To report.
If you'll scan heading 4 for Mark 163, Lieutenant, you'll find...
Leslie always got the unique sweaters, man. Whoever did the costume design for him.
It's got that drip. Oh, God.
This is my first officer, Commander William Riker. Second in command, Data, Counselor Troy.
We have heard that you use females.
Gotta bring up the females.
What?
I just felt something too, Captain.
Yeah, enough.
We are not selling it to him. Consider it an act of friendship. Ugly, very ugly.
It's Patrick Stewart. What am I doing with my career?
The two guys in the back of the Ferengi still terrible, but at least the main guy, like I'm into him a little bit more. Bach,
Yeah.
he's at least believable in the role. But why do they always have to be in a group of three?
The two in the back are probably the same from the other episode.
A maneuver was being made. We were hit. Something's burning. I can smell smoke. Can you smell it?
There's nothing burning, Jean-Luc.
She really likes using his first name. I think she's like the only one that does.
It's a pretty neat name, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah,
Do you think Patrick Stewart wrote a book? I am not Jean-Luc. Like,
like Spock.
yeah.
I am Jean-Luc.
You performed what Starfleet textbooks now refer to as the Picard maneuver.
Ooh.
I haven't thought about this for years.
Yeah, I mean, imagine life in Starfleet. It's like so amazing that he does this like life-saving thing. And he's like, oh, I haven't thought about it in years. Like, oh, no big deal.
And they teach it at the school.
The Ferengi are standing by for us to take possession of the Stargazer.
I want to go over to her.
I understand.
Ferengi are obviously tricking them in some way. Why would they just show up and give them a ship?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? For free?
yeah, obviously there's something going on here.
Well, this looks awesome. All right, they did build the set. Kudos for them.
The rest of the ship is clear of surprises, Lieutenant Yar.
You know, when I read about this ship at the Academy, I never dreamed I'd ever be on her.
Yard to Enterprise. All clear, sir.
See, it's just like little scenes like that that are so great that it's like, you know, in TOS, it would just be the big three going over there.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
nothing wrong with that, but it's so nice just seeing, like, all the other crew.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you see that? It has the,
The seatbelt thing?
yeah.
Data, download all computers to the Enterprise and file. I'm going to look at my old cabin.
Are the Ferengi still on the Enterprise? Did they leave?
Yeah, they just leave, I guess. You know, they'll pop up again.
Oh.
It's Cerebro.
Oh, God.
Try this, hero of Maxia.
Oh no, this is giving me vibes of Dagger of the Mind, where it's like, ah, it makes my head hurt.
Actually, it was quite a bargain, Kazago. I thought the Ferengi always made a profit on things.
Hey, they got to return the favor, hang up on them.
Like going back to the house you grew up in, but no one's home except phantoms of the past.
It has troubled you.
What's wrong?
I wish I could say.
Yeah, so do
Shut
we.
up.
So do we.
So do we.
Not her fault. Her power is too overpowered for the script.
Shields weakening, Captain. Torpedoes armed. Where are they? Oh my God, sir!
Always having flashbacks in his dream.
Actually, the typical like TV trope flashback where it's just him, but he has a full head of hair. You're like, he looks.
Yeah, just a wig.
Yeah, just a wig.
Glasses, too. Does anyone in the future? I don't think they wear glasses.
That's true.
The starship which Captain Picard attacked had in fact been under a flag of truce. The captain destroyed the ship without notice or provocation. And what proof? It is logged in his own voice, sir.
Oh.
Would you care to hear it, sir? Sir.
How long did that go on for after the Fade to Black? Sir? Sir!
I'm certain the Ferengi are behind the faked law. No wonder they're waiting out there. Headache back, sir.
Damn, I'll call the doctor again.
No wonder with all this going on. Try to relax.
The headache started before like Frank were even there.
Yeah, beginning of the episode.
So they had that that little ball that like made it worse somehow. But like what? Just because they were in like the general like what
Area?
mile vicinity, it's able to affect it.
Or maybe it's just like directly connected to his brain regardless of the location. Also, why did Dr. Crusher act like a headache? Like you shouldn't have a headache unless something's wrong. But everyone else seems to like not think it's that big of a deal. Like, oh.
Well, she's the one at medical, so it makes sense, I guess.
First officer to first officer, Kazago. If your Captain Bach knew about this, then why this peaceful meeting to present us with this Stargazer?
We freely give you back your derelict warship, and now you accuse us of crime, Riker? I can bear no more insults.
This guy's a lot better by himself.
I got this headache long before I even knew my old ship still existed.
Want to talk about it? I'm here.
How do I know I was in my right mind with Maxia? How do I know I'm in my right mind now? What was that?
Something to let you sleep.
Whew.
That was good.
Anytime it's them two in a scene together, it's like, let them cook. Oh, she like track. Those are for the brain scans, probably.
Oh, yeah. Pretty thin blanket you got there.
Shields weakening, Captain.
Oh, boy.
No. Sweating.
And now, my dear Captain, you are ready to live the past.
Are we gonna get to see the full flashback or just these audio snippets? Oh, there we go. Whoa, what the?
Engage.
By comparing the Stargazer's main computer log with Captain Picard's personal log, I found checksum discrepancies, sir.
What does that mean?
Number one, I'd like you to take a look at this brain scan, Griff. What are you doing here?
I thought I was captain of this starship.
Oh boy, this is kind of an out of nowhere twist.
Something's wrong with him.
I have business with the commander.
Under protest, sir.
Oh, I love that line. Under protest, sir. Yeah, that's great. Like, I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it.
The Stargazer from the tractor beam, number one.
Sir?
Tractor beam.
Sir, are you abandoning?
No, but her inertia will carry the Stargazer along with us. Or did you sleep through the Academy lecture on the conservation of tractor beam power?
No, sir. A releaser, of course.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. If you're in space, there's nothing to stop you. So, like, once you're moving, you know, you just turn off the tractor beam, you'll just continue moving unless you hit something.
Yeah, true.
But, like, what's the point of turning off the tractor beam, though? I don't know, is there a benefit to energy or something?
More power, I guess.
I don't know much about brain scans. I noticed that these patterns are the same as those picked up from the low-intensity transmissions from the Ferengi ship.
What kind of transmission?
I don't know. Engineering has nothing like it on record.
Let's get to the captain.
No, they might be affecting the captain. To Riker.
Little Jean saves the day again.
Computer emergency order to transporter room 3.
New information. Captain Picard is no longer aboard the Enterprise.
He beamed over to the Stargazer. He's just gonna fly away.
Let it go, the tractor beam. Beam's over there.
See you later.
Stargazer, Captain, respond.
Shields up, sir. No way to beam over any help.
So if a ship has their shields up, you can't beam over. Okay, that's good to know.
That's cool.
You transferred some of his belongings from the Stargazer?
Yes, including a fairly heavy chest.
Go take a look.
I can lift it because I'm big.
You murdered my only son.
Ooh.
I have spent these years searching for proper broad revenge, and I found it.
Oh man, we're really getting the villain explains his whole plan scene.
I am rich, Picard. Yet 2 of these cost me the profits of an entire life. Die well, Captain.
I'm just gonna go over and turn this thing off.
And how are other creatures able to beam, like, just beam out with, like, no communication? Are the rest of the Ferengi just watching? Wait for him to finish his ordeal here.
Let him cook.
Yeah.
Let him cook. All right, he's done. I don't know. Maybe he had a button.
What do you make of it, LaForge?
Seems to be a network of miniature circuitry, sir. Incredibly complex.
Like the Dr. Crusher's up there, too.
It is not seemly to question one's own daemon, Riker. I am not prepared to do that.
Sir, I have the Stargazer.
Switch now.
Enterprise to Picard.
We are on a peaceful mission. Give your identity. You force us to defend ourselves. Arm torpedoes. Fire the shield at full power.
Oh, and he said that the ship will just listen to him like he doesn't need a crew.
Yeah.
I said get the fusion generators under surge control. You're moving much too slowly.
You know, they've really made Picard look vulnerable in the last few episodes, like.
Yeah, it's always him.
I do like this effect, though. You got the Dutch angle here.
My only hope is that Picard overcomes it on his own somehow.
You should also know that Damon Bach no longer commands this vessel. His first officer has confined him for engaging in this unprofitable adventure.
Oh.
Good luck, First Officer Riker.
Oh, earlier he was like, oh, I don't think I have the balls to do that.
Yeah.
And he did it.
What was his name? Kazago?
Yeah.
Good for you, Kazago.
Limit its field of fire.
Right. Concentrate shields at that point. Make it so. I hope you're right, Data.
No question of it.
And they're really having Riker stand in as the captain.
He's like, I've been waiting all day. I've been waiting my entire life for this.
It's almost like they wanted the audience to turn on Picard.
Who is this?
It's Riker, sir. You're number one. Look for a silver sphere. Destroy it with your phaser.
Did they destroy the one they have?
I don't think so.
Destroy the sphere. Destroy the sphere.
Oh, he's got the remote phaser. Oh! It wasn't that big of an explosion. Didn't really warrant that.
Didn't really need to jump that much.
Where is Bach? Removed from command, sir, and placed under guard for his act of personal vengeance. Seems there was no profit in it.
Yeah, that's all Ferengi cared about.
In revenge, there never is.
And revenge there never is. Nice.
Let the dead rest, and the past remain the past.
And Ryan Johnson must have liked this episode. Let the past die. You know.
Oh,
okay.
That's it.
That's it.
What do they do with the Stargazer? They just have it for the rest of their 5-year journey?
I thought Picard was going to be like, blow it up.
I guess they could just stop at a pit stop or whatever they call it.
Hey, are you a fan of the target audience and you're already subscribed and you're thinking, oh my lord, what else can I do? Well, guess what? You can like the video down below.
Last episode, when we were on our shore leave, I said that Justice, that episode, was my favorite thus far of the season. And it was short-lived. This is my favorite episode of the season thus far.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Slower-paced episode, but I was deeply enthralled, truly enthralled with what was going on with Picard. I thought to myself, if these are the kind of stories that we get when we're not beaming down to a planet and we're not meeting, you know, a bunch of guest characters like the Ferengi are in here, but for just like an Enterprise story, I really enjoyed it. There were a couple of things that, you know, we'll talk about that I maybe wasn't a fan of, but yeah, throughout the entirety of the show thus far, I really liked this one.
Okay, I can understand that. For me, I don't know, like, oh, something's wrong with Picard, or like, and just like trying to figure it out what it is. That seems like we've already done that. You know, I liked the whole lore building, like, oh, this happened 9 years ago. But the details of like what he doesn't remember and what he does, and like I thought they were gonna go deeper or make something crazy when they did like they made the Picard maneuver. But no, it's just this weird sphere thing, and like the resolution, like I wish Picard was able to just overcome it on his own. I mean, you need your team. That helps as well. Like, Picard, it's me, Riker. Who?
Yeah.
Right. Shoot it. And him just...
See, I was satisfied with it because he does end up overcoming it. Like, he is the one that blows it up and saves himself.
But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Riker.
For Riker, yeah. I would not have liked it if, like, Riker had just, like, completely bailed him out and, like, Picard did nothing and then just, like, woke up on the Enterprise. And I've been like, that's cheap. I did, you know, I was satisfied enough with the way that they went with it. But similar to how with Justice, it was my favorite episode up till that point because of the scene with Picard and Data. This one, I feel like, was my favorite because of that scene with Picard and Dr. Crusher.
What is wrong with me?
I wish to hell I knew, Captain. But something unusual has definitely been happening to you.
And him, like, having this guilt and, like, what's real, what's not, am I losing my mind, or was it lost back then? You know, it's like him having that internal struggle, seeing the human side of Picard. Although, you know, we always see, like, his captain, you know, side, but seeing this, you know, starting to lose it, being human, but the only person he can probably feel human with, Crusher, I think it does really good.
You didn't tell me it had been this bad.
It wasn't this bad, but it's getting worse.
Gates McFadden continues to be my favorite character, and okay, maybe not like my favorite character of the show, but like my favorite performance, Gates McFadden, because like just her little intricacies, like when she's sitting there with Picard and she's like,
"Want to talk about it? I'm here."
And it's just like such a human thing. Like it's so, she just feels like a real person. It's so great. And then for Picard, you know, typical TV show, like he could be like, "No, I don't need to talk about it," you know, and walk out. But it's like, no, he's like, yeah, and has a real discussion about it. Just feeding into that backstory, I really loved it.
Gates McFadden, you know, she's like like, oh, we're in the future, but she's like the most consistent, like, human character. Even more human than Troy. You know what I mean? I mean, Troy's not human, I believe, but she's supposed to be like the empathetic,
Yeah.
But Case McFadden does it 10 times better.
But at least Troy actually got to participate in this one.
Captain, I sense considerable deception on Buck's part. And danger.
Then we should meet him here.
And we had a few good laughs
Yeah.
at her expense.
I truly didn't think when we started the show, everyone called it like, uh-oh, at Empath, you guys are going to, rip her apart. And at first, I'm like, as long as it doesn't get, like, annoying or repetitive, and it started to get annoying and repetitive. So hopefully they mix it up soon. I've seen comments that her character, like, doesn't develop for a little while, so I'm trying to cut her some slack. But, yeah, it's already kind of like in the next episode, she's not in it, and it was a much-needed break, I think.
Yeah.
It has troubled you.
There's two things I didn't care for much in the episode. The first was how they treated the headache. I felt like it was inconsistent. Like, you have the doctor.
And now I got this damned headache.
A what?
We basically overcome headaches. Like, the only reason you'd have a headache is if something's seriously wrong. And I get it that she's the doctor, so she would know more. But I feel like if normal people don't experience headaches anymore, and then your captain has a headache, everyone's going to think that's really weird. But no one really seems to make it that big of a deal.
Do you think they even know what headaches are at this point?
Well, exactly. So then he says, oh, a little headache. And, like, Troy gives a little look, but then Riker, a few scenes later, is like, oh, you're just stressed, which is, like, an excuse now, like, in today. So it was just a little inconsistent.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Would have been goofy if it just, a wide shot of everyone just going, what? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to strike that balance. The second thing was I don't care for how vulnerable they're making Picard so early. Like, Kirk becomes vulnerable in TOS, early on with, like, the enemy with it and stuff. But, like you said, he's able to work himself out of it and work through it. This is the second episode already where Picard is, like, basically on the ropes, like, taken out by whatever this thing is. And at least in this one, I more so like that he was at the end able to overcome it, albeit with the help of Riker. And a couple episodes ago, they all fail, and he would have just died except for he didn't because convenience. So this was better in that respect. But yeah, they're still making him, in my opinion, a little bit too vulnerable to the point where it's like, did they want to try to, like, get rid of him? Like, it's almost like they wanted the audience to turn on Picard and go with Riker because they're making Riker the real strong man.
Yeah, do you think Riker was, like, the backup just in case? Because it's like...
I think so, yeah.
Because Picard is, like, not Kirk, like, at all. Like, he's his own captain person, where people are afraid, like, oh, he's not really, like, an action star like Kirk. So we have Riker in reserve just in case.
Yeah, but that makes me confused because it's like, if you're, like, self-aware of that, a risk you're taking, why write the scripts to make him look so vulnerable, and kind of weak,
They wanted it to happen.
Exactly, yeah, it's weird. Yeah, last thing I'll say about it is the Ferengi. I'm just really surprised that they were able to get me on board as much as they did after that last episode where I was so, like, confused on how I felt about them. When they first came on this one, I'm like, oh no, like, this isn't going to go well. And by the end of it, I was actually like, okay, I would welcome them back. Like, next time they're in whatever episode they're in, I'm not going to instantly groan. I'll give them a chance to see how it goes.
Yeah, we just needed time for them to develop their own characters within their species. Like an episode or two ago with, like, the lizard people and, like, the rat people. Like, they were just, like, cool to see their costumes, but they were all the same, one note, to whatever their character species is. So it's because they don't have time to go into all of them. But for this one, they go into, like, Ferengi leader going off on his own revenge mission and going against their word of it's all about profit. And the first officer being nervous about, like, oh, I don't know, first officer to first officer. It's like, blah, blah, blah. And then we cut it to him later, and he stuck by his code and took him into the brig. So that was neat. That was cool. And, like, just seeing him when one-on-one to almost talk like regular people was so refreshing instead of like,
yeah.
And, like, seeing the first officer actually, be like, like, actually have, like
a conscience.
A conscience, like, thoughts. That was good.
Good improvement.
Good improvement.
Okay, we're going to jump into our patron takes. This is where our patrons let us know what they think of the episode, as well as ask us questions or even predict how we're going to react to the episode. We don't look at these until right now, after we've seen the episode and given our thoughts on it. It's very fun to give our full thoughts and then for our patrons to give theirs as well. So if you want to be part of the patron takes, you can sign up on Patreon.
Gotta read this one because first First sentence is Alex on this episode. The lore. You're right. That's exactly what I said. Star Trek really knows how to stretch a budget by reusing sets, models, and shots from the movies. One of the fun things is watching out for new footage or models and for what is a reuse. Huh.
Yeah, I think I said that I thought that the Stargazer ship might have been from the movies. So I think that maybe that is the case, a leftover set.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
Because it did look pretty familiar, like you said, even down to the seatbelt lap bars. So, yeah. This is from John. John says, I always liked Picard's log entry of, we are forced to abandon our starship. But in hindsight, it was pretty dumb not to blow the thing up. Why let your technology fall into enemy hands? And I think that's a good point, because during the episode, I thought it was weird when the Ferengi were like, oh, this was just drifting out in space, and not our business how it got there. And it does, like, make you think, wouldn't Starfleet not want to just, like, leave their ships? I understand it was a dire situation and they had to evacuate, but to then just, like, all these years, no one ever, like, tried to find it or blow it up or retrieve it.
I don't know. Space is big, but you think it could have drifted that far for that long to that point where they would never get to it? Like, did they lose communication? Like, they said they were, like, almost like, what's the word I'm looking, like refugees, right? Like, ship hopping to get back, so maybe it just drifted for that long. This one's from Joe Concepts. Here we already get a better use of the Ferengi, and I always liked the interaction between Riker and the Ferengi first officer, same. It's funny how it almost sounds sort of honorable how he sees the captain's unprofitable waste of time as going against their values and culture. Kind of a hint of where you could go with them going forward.
Yeah, that was interesting how when he does finally arrest him, it's not because like he's doing something unmoral, it's because his actions were unprofitable.
Yeah, that's the whole thing behind them, right? Profit, so gotta follow your rules. I like it.
Prof Moff said, I think this will be your favorite episode so far. Well, true for me. It has many of the TOS things we like, but it is a true TNG episode. A little backstory on Picard, a maneuver named for him showing Picard as a bit of a legend, hate, revenge, even love in a way if you think of the Ferengi father and son. Oh yeah, because he killed his only son.
That's right. That's right.
I don't think it'll end up being one of your faves, but of the ones we have seen so far, yeah, I think so. Yeah, well, you're right in terms of me, for example. Was there anything about it, I know we already kind of discussed it, but was there anything about it that specifically, like, you didn't like that made it not really stick out to you?
Yeah, so you say it's your favorite episode. For me, it's just in that, I've mentioned this a few times, but those, like, TOS episodes where, like, I'm not going to remember this.
Really? Yeah.
At the end, and it's like when you say the title, and it'll be like, what? And then you're like, oh, it's this one. Like, oh.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be like that for me.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Still on a couple months away, but once we get to that, once we finish the first season, I'm already feeling like it's going to be a hard list to even put together. Like, so much of the season has felt like it's just kind of melted together, and in some ways that's good, and in some ways it's not, in my opinion. Like, TOS, every episode felt, I don't want to go as far as to say it felt like a different show, but every episode was very distinct in my memory. And in this one, only 9 episodes in as of this episode, and it's already like, yeah, which one was that episode? Like, they're already kind of...
They're very familiar, you know, like everyone gets their quips around the same time. Following the structure.
Yeah, but I think the good reason for that is because it shows the consistency. Like, there's a consistent quality that I don't go into any of these episodes like fearing it's going to be way below normal quality because it's been consistent thus far. That probably will happen eventually, but yeah, good and bad. But whatever our list ends up being.
I know it's number 1.
Data, if you've got a theory about what's happening.
The hell?
Think fast, Commander Riker.
Cursed image.
That is a cursed image if I ever saw one.